I've got the Hobbyking Glue and Go F-35 Canadian paint scheme configuration here. A couple of modifications that I've made to this thing are as follows. Put some landing gear underneath it. Did this one in black so it's a little hard to tell. One in the front, two in the back. See that there. Two in the back lined up right about there. Gotta make the front one a little bit taller, so I'll heat that hot glue up and remove it. And do the zip tie modification here. I'll just make the front a little bit taller to change the angle of attack so that it takes off from the ground. Right now it's not quite enough to take off, so I'm hand launching it. I took a couple of balance leads here and just made that as a hatch opener. Once I moved my battery all the way up front, found that I really didn't need to open that hatch, so I just closed it up with a little hot glue for now. If you look at it, you can see how that left side is up just a little bit compared to the right side, which is absolutely neutral with the wing line. The reason that left one is up a little bit and it's trimmed that way is because I have the battery on the right side of the plane, and so that makes it want to, it's weighted heavily on this side, and so that helps to keep everything trim and level. The power setup that I'm going with is my favorite. That's the Turnigy D2826/6 2200 kV 6x4 prop. Let's see if I can see some of the components. Yeah, it's kind of buried in there, but what I've got is a, zoom in. I've got a 30 amp plush speed controller and a Lemon DSM-2 receiver, and I'm running this on a 4S 1000 pack, and it's, as you can see, it's all the way up here in the front to get the proper CG. Speaking of CG, I did the maiden flight on this thing with the recommended 11.5 centimeters forward of the front of the motor, and it was way off. So that's the front right there. That's from the front of the motor. If you line everything up, that is the recommended 11.5 centimeters, which I found was really tail heavy. This thing was out of control for about 5 flights as I kept moving the battery forward, and ultimately I settled on the best CG for this setup, which is 155 to about 160, I would say, right there, centimeters forward of the front of the motor. Okay, let's take this thing up. Flight. Got the SU-27 right there next to it. again, once I make that front gear a little bit taller, it'll change the angle of attack, get some wind underneath that wing, and get this thing to lift off. For now, it's working as the skids. Zip ties are working as just landing gear, keep the propeller from cracking when it hits the pavement. Alright, so there you go. F-35 with that 155 to 165 CG, it's centimeters, it's so much better. Flies great. I've got 125% throw on both my elevator and my aileron settings, with about 35% expo to soften up the middle of the sticks. Found that I needed that full 125% to be able to have control of this thing. But man, flies great, and this power setup is just super powerful and just a great performing setup. So there you go. Again, check out my other video on the SU-27, which is also an excellent flyer, and stay tuned for more. We've got the J-20 and the MiG-29 coming up shortly. All right, take care.